All right, you guys, Johnny Blaze here, plugging in with this, our WSOP Main Event giveaway. It's the Tournament of Champions. Everybody that took down a tournament throughout this 2-month season is qualified for a tournament to play for a main event seat and $1,000 package. I did play in it, and I did happen to bust out about 13th or 14th place. We have 9 players left. Took off, got called back to get here and do the commentary on it. I sort of forgot about it, but we're here now. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the action, you guys. Got a pot right away. Paul here with King Queen, Coach with Pocket Jacks. It looks like Coach chipped up and made 46K 46K with blinds at 1K, 2K. So it was about a 23 big blind pot. Quite significant for sure. Check, check. Yeah, it's good. We were 10-handed. Just give me 1 second, you guys. Got an empty seat. That is 10, 9, 8, 7. 7 is Nassim. Yeah, he's right there. Ton of value, guys. This is an 11K package. Again, winner take all tournament. We started off with 25. There was a few players, I believe 4 or 5, that were not able to make it. So it was about 21 of us that were in there battling for this package. Shane in the big blind ends up defending the offsuit wheel ace raise off of, from Paul in +4. And Paul C bets and takes it down. Nassim now in the big. Take a look at stack sizes real quick. Always the first thing to look at when you sit at a poker table is the stack size. It gives you context for all of your decisions. Paul sitting on the big stack at 143,000. 2K bigs, now 3K bigs. Puts him at 47 big blinds. So I'm going to throw it up one more time, guys, just to get a look at it myself. Short stack is Daryl. He has 10 big blinds. So everyone is between 10 bigs and about 50. And that is the playing field right now. Average stack is going to be probably about 30 bigs. Nassim here in the big blind. King Jack O. Ruben raises +2 with pocket 5s. Flop checks through. Nassim checks to the aggressor. Ruben checks on a king 10 deuce. Texture. Nassim bets the turn. Gets a continue from Ruben. And very often Ruben will just go ahead and pay this off. He does pay it off. Finds out the bad news. Pot goes to Nassim, the dream. Got a pretty fun table here. Many of the who's who of tournament players here in West Texas. Paul in seat 1, Coach in seat 2, Hunter in seat 3, Daryl Hopkins in seat 4, MJ seat 5, Shane in seat 6, Nassim the Dream seat 7, Meacham over here there in seat 8, Moss in seat 9 and Ruben in seat 10. Familiar faces in the final tables here at KoJack's. Many of them are on the walls for winning various events throughout the years. So not surprised to see him here. Poker is a game of luck, but as we can tell, there is plenty of skill involved. And in the end, the cream does rise to the top. Monica in the box here. Looks like she is going for the fiery red hair. I like it. I had the first time noticing it, but it's a good look on her. She's definitely a firecracker. So it fits her personality. Love to see it. There I'm walking around the background. Had to get a bite to eat before I start the stream. The stream is 15 minutes in the past. What do we got here? Paul has lost 40K. We'll take a look at the plus and minus. Nope. Plus and minus so far. MJ and Moss at break even, dead even. Only people that have lost significant chips are Ruben and Paul. Ruben we saw with the pocket fives, and Paul with the pocket jacks, I believe it was, or king queen. Got a hand brewing here. A lot of playable hands in the field. Got a raise from Ruben under the gun. Raises up pocket sevens. Gets 2 suited broadways to continue. One from Paul to his direct left, and plus 1 MJ from the hijack. 2 spots from the button. Continues Moss out of the big blind. Opts to 3-bet his ace queen. Ruben comes through with a call, as well as Paul and MJ. So we have a 4-way pot here, 85.5K in the middle, going to a flop of ace 6-6. Moss flops well. He's been running good so far in this tournament. Has found himself in the possession of a couple of sets, river quads with one of them. And here he does find a favorable flop of ace 6-6. Bets once and takes it down against the field with a very obvious top pair. Helps to run good. He is also playing fairly reasonably. So we expect to see him run deep in this event. Paul with a ton of chips in position of the both of them. So he will be a sore spot to the both of them for sure. Paul does like to take a lot of flops. He is sticky post-flop, takes a lot of turns and rivers. Fairly often he will get lucky in those spots and put damage on people, as he has done so today in order to accumulate that stack. MJ here is going to flat his King Jack O. Meets him on the button with a pair, middling pair. Puts it all in for 20 bigs. Ruben with Ace King O does decide to ship his stack in of about 25, 26 big blinds. It's 26 and a half. MJ contemplating the stars, I suppose. Makes the laydown. And we have a flip situation here between Rubin and Meacham. Significant pot for sure. All of the pots will be significant from this point forward. Eight, five, deuce, queen on the turn. All rainbow. Ace ball on the river. GG, Mr. Sewell. Played well. Put it all in a flip situation and got rivered by Rube. That's all she wrote. Pretty common in tournament poker. It's just how it goes. No big deal. You just pick up and move on to the next one. There's nothing to it. It's a big spot, 11K package to the main event for some of these fellas. That'll be another day in the life of a seasoned poker player. I'm not sure how many of them have played in the main event, but for some, I am sure it would be an opportunity of a lifetime to go ahead and play in what is essentially the World Championship, apart from the Poker Player Championship and the WPT World Championship that happens in December. It is one of the premier tournaments that happen in the world. 10K buy-in, freeze out format. That means there's no rebuys for anybody. You take your 10K and you get your chips and you play for as long as you can. I believe right now the main events are lasting about 7 or 8 days until the final table. 12 hours a day, 2.5 hour levels. It's a very unique tournament structure, not comparable to anything else that you can play. It's sort of can be compared to a cash game because the levels don't increase so quickly along the way. So it gives you more play, more patience, and more opportunity to get some reads on your opponents. We have an all in here. MJ with pocket eights, coach with king queen, does find a queen on the river to eliminate Mr. MJ Janneman, or Mick Janneman, I believe. Standard flip situation. Ace 4 deuce flop, pretty clean. Jack on the turn gives coach an additional 4 outs, and the queen on the river seals the deal. No, Miranda. Moss is in seat 9. He's off to the right next to the gentleman in the gray sweater. That's him over there. He has 190,000 chips. He is the chip leader right now, in fact. So he's in a good spot. You're going to have a nice sweat with your buddy Moss here. So wish him luck. He's been on the right side of Lady Luck so far this evening. We shall see if that continues. But thus far, he has run quite good. Yes, ma'am. No problem. The spot here, Rubin with the suited king raises 2 bigs on the button. Coach defends with 7-5-0. Pretty standard stuff. Queen 9-8 comes down on the flop, checks through. Coach checks a king turn. Ruben bets his top pair and takes it down. Playing a waiting game here. There's a ton of action out there on the floor here at KoJack's. If you guys are looking for something to do here on this Friday evening, I believe we have 4 cash games or so. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up real quick. Flush Frenzy is currently sitting at 2K. If you're new to the channel, if you make a flush in a cash game, one of every suit, then you hit our jackpot. And we call the Flush Frenzy. Right now it's $2,000. So come in, play, have some fun. If you get lucky and hit a flush of spade, heart, diamond, and club, then you walk away with an extra $2,000 in your pocket. Not a bad deal for a 1-2 situation. And also, if you hit 3 flushes between the window that we play it, you make yourself $100. Paul here raised a button, suited ace-9. Hunter continues. He raises big, 12K. Hunter calls with ace-jack. That is definitely a candidate for a 3-bet versus a button open. Flop does come down 9 high in favor of Paul. He bets, of course, and Hunter goes ahead and lays it down. Hunter had about 25 bigs in that hand. That is one of the hands that you can contemplate 3-betting. The question would be the sizing on it. If Paul raises so big, he is sort of announcing that he has a big hand, so perhaps that has something to do with Hunter deciding to continue through a call and take a flop. Pretty serious table, I would say. A lot of these guys are quite stoic, trying to keep their composure in the heat of battle. Hunter here, blind versus blind, with Daryl raises quite sizable, about half of his stack with the suited king 10, and Daryl folds 5 high. So we got, yeah, it looks like we do have 4 cash games out there on the floor, you guys. 5 OTB, 500 min buy, 1500 max with a 70% match the stack. We have 1 table of that running. We have 2 1-2s, $60 minimum buy-in, $200 buy-in max. We have 2 of those tables with 7 people waiting for a seat, and we have 1 table of 1-2 round of each. That's a round of No Limit Hold'em and a round of Omaha. Same structure, $60 to get into the game. 200 is the maximum that you can buy. So come on down if you feel like having a pleasant evening here. We have the snack bar in full effect. So come get you something to eat and play some cards. Here we got a spot. Coach raising just a touch under 3 big blinds with ace 9 offsuit from the cutoff. Hunter with ace king, 3 bets to 35K. Coach relinquishes his hand. Lets Hunter go ahead and take it down. Very often there he will be dominated, as he was in this particular case. Hunter's range probably looks like ace king, ace queen, pairs from probably 10s or up, potentially 9s. What else? Not too sure how he is thinking about the various hands, but I would say 10s plus and ace queen plus is a very reasonable range to put him on. Maybe ace jack suited plus as well. Daryl here on the button with suited 9 deuce. Don't see him taking this spot. We're going to be in a blind versus blind situation. Shane does fold his ragged jack 4. He was actually dominated by Nassim's jack 5. Turns out being a good lay down, but it's a difficult hand to continue with for sure. Yes, sir, Gus. This is a tournament. It is Tournament of Champions. We had a 2.5-month season where everyone that played in our weekly tournaments and in the series that we recently finished here at KoJack's, everyone that took down a tournament and got first place in any of those tournaments was entered into the Tournament of Champions. And it was about 25 players total that started today. And there's no other payouts other than first. It's a winner-take-all format tournament. First place gets a $10,000 buy-in to the main event this summer in Vegas. WSOP Main Event, that is, and a $1,000 package for airfare and travel expenses, all that good stuff. So this is a winner-take-all. There will not be anyone making a profit other than one. There will be one champion. And on Sunday, we also have a stream for the Tournament of Leaders. And what they were doing is they were giving points for everyone that cashed in that same season. It was like been 2.5 months or so. Interesting spot here. I'll get back to the Tournament of Leaders. Moss here in a battle, blind versus blind. Nassim raises up 10-5 of spades. Moss with the dead man's hand does go ahead and raise quite big. I believe he puts Nassim all in. It's a good play. Very, very good play. No big deal, Reese. It was pretty brutal. The pocket kings were not holding up on the table that I got moved to. It was funny because we went on a break, and Hunter told me that pocket kings were no good. So I end up going in there. I had maybe 6 big blinds, something like that, and I end up going all in with Paul. Paul shows down pocket kings. I'm like, you know what those are, right? He said, what? They're pocket kings. I said, no, they're ace magnets. And sure enough, I end up spiking an ace on the river. Played a couple pots in between there, and then here we go. Speak of the devil. Moss wakes up to the pocket kings. He does take it down. No one else in there with a playable hand. But yeah, Reese, so I end up in a spot where Paul raises big on the button. I'm in the big blind with 2 red kings. I go all in. He calls off with ace 7 offsuit and ace in the window, wouldn't you know it? So quite a few of us got busted up in that table with pocket kings. Brian Duplantis went out with kings. I went out with kings. So just one of those nights, funny funny thing, and the simulation just does what it does, it seems like. So no big deal. I'm not too hurt about it. Just enjoying the journey, you know. Moss in quite a good spot. He has been running good from the start of the tournament, as I was saying earlier. And the run good continues, so he might be our representative. It's hard to beat luck, you know, and he might be our representative going into Vegas to fight for us in that main event. There is on Sunday as well, Gus, I was telling you about the Tournament of Leaders. So there was points accumulated for everyone that cashes in our tournament season leading up to this, and all of the top 10, I believe, 9 or 10, I think it's maybe top 9, they qualify for the Tournament of Leaders that will be played this Sunday at 3 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. It's the same format, winner take all, for an 11K seat to the main event, 10K buy-in, as well as a $1,000 travel package. So tune in for that if you feel so inclined. We would love to have you for sure. Should be interesting. A lot of these fellows that are in here on this final table with us right now are also going to be present on Sunday. I think Paul is in it. Daryl is in it. Ruben might be in it. And I think that might be a coach. Coach is also in it. So about half of them. Again, guys, you know, a lot of people have the perception that poker is just straight gambling and degeneracy, but there is a lot of sport and strategy and tactics, and there's a lot of skill involved in poker. Your ability to perceive your opponents. There's a lot that goes into it. So many layers. So it's not just straight gambling by any means. Thanks, Gus. We appreciate that. Always glad to have you, brother. I'm not sure if we've had the pleasure of meeting, but I'm sure that day will come. Looks like Moss does have some fans in the chat. Heather and Miranda, so that's pretty fun to see. I guess, contrary to what I thought, Moss is a ladies' man. Respect to him. Got Corey in the box now, dealing for us. Plenty of downtime. Miranda and Heather. He's not at all he thinks he is. That's too funny. He has a really nice vet. He has a very nice vet, and he's a pretty cool guy. He's you know, man. Well, how is he not a ladies' man? He's got all you ladies in here sweating him. That's I don't know. Actions speak louder than words. He's got y'all following along, so can't be too bad. Not be too bad. Nassim here with aces, raising up blinds at 2K, 4K. It is getting tight. And Coach decides to take a flop with his Jack-9 suited. If Coach is able to make 2 pairs plus, then he will be stacking Nassim. That does not look to be the case. I like the check here from Nassim on a 6-6 deuce. He doesn't have to be too fearful. You know, if they have diamonds, they're not going to fold anyway, so be it. Checks again. Love it. he wants to allow the cards between 7 and king to hit a pair. Ideally, with aces, you have the utmost pair possible, and so you don't require any pair protection. You're trying to protect from straights and flushes and two pairs and things of that nature. On a 6-6 deuce, you're either way ahead, way behind. So you either have him crushed or he's got you crushed on that board. No reason to bet. In my opinion, he does agree. So nice hand from Nassim. I like the way he played that. It's Mersvet. Jordan, what is it's Mersvet? M-I-R-S, Mosvet, Mersvet 2. How funny. I won a tournament there. Gus says in the chat, I won a tournament there a year ago or so. I enjoyed decent cash the same night. A lot of gamble and action there. A lot of Texas heads up. Yeah. Texas Hold'em in Texas is its own beast for sure. There's a saying that has come up, is quite popular since the card room started opening up in Texas, because tech poker is so different out here. They call it Texas heads up. That means that there's about 5 or 6 people involved in the pot. Because in Texas, it's so different from other places. In other places, usually you have either a heads up pot, 3 ways is, a rarity, and 4 ways, that's like everyone has great hands. But here in Texas, there's a lot of gamble, there's a lot of fight, and people like seeing flops and seeing what comes up. So you can raise it pretty big and still expect to get a bunch of action. You're going to have a bunch of people that are going to call your initial raise and see what comes up. Shane here, jamming with pocket tens out of the small blind versus a cutoff open from Hunter. Hunter does fold his queen jack of clubs. Mandatory open, of course, and versus an all-in from Mr. Shane here. It's a good fold. You're behind so much. Those sort of hands are very attractive and tempting. But after all, he does have queen high. So not a good hand to call off an all-in jam with. Heather Austin Moss. Austin says, how long do you think this will go? Austin, I think I'm going to pull up the stacks again. What do we have? Moss is the big stack. He's at 4K, which is, he's got 50 bigs. Small is between, it's probably 10 bigs or so. Yeah, the smallest stack is, we're still at the same spot. 2 people have busted out. Small stack is at 10 big blinds. Big stack is at 50 big blinds. So the geometry is about the same. My guess would be probably about 3 hours, depending on the heads up portion of it. I think 3 hours is a pretty safe guess. 3 or 4 hours, something like that. It depends on the heads up, really. That's a grind. It can take a while to finally crown a champion, especially in a spot like this where there isn't any ICM pressure along the way. It's a winner take all. What do we have here? An open from Hunter with pocket queens. Both of the blinds do continue. Flop comes down 9-4-4, and Hunter jams all in on that texture. Not a bad spot to go ahead and take down the pot after you have 2 people continuing. You can also argue for a smaller sizing to let them in there with their 9x. Or their other pairs like 8s through 5s. If they have 10s or jacks, which they probably won't because those go all in pre-flop. So we eliminate those from our opponent's range. Yeah, but again, taking it down and not having to worry about getting beat on the turn in the river is not a bad option either. The queens are going around the ladies. Got the ladies in the chat. We got the ladies on the table. Funny enough. Daryl here, 10 bigs, 11 bigs actually. Goes ahead and sends it in. Moss having a great time. Feeling good about himself. Eating his chili cheese dog or whatever it is. There in the back, sipping on Starbucks. And sitting on a stack in a good spot to do well here. Gus says, I live in El Paso, would make trips up there to play when I go on my poker road trips. Yeah, El Paso, I haven't actually played any poker in El Paso, Gus, but I am originally from El Paso, born and raised. So do look forward to going out there in July. They're going to have $200 or $300 buy-in tournament that's going to have like a $250K guarantee, something like that. It'll be my first time playing back in the hometown. So let's see if I can show them what I got, and hopefully can play some good poker and show them something to be proud of. I think my game's come a long way since I started playing out here in Midland, Odessa. Miranda, Austin Moss says, Austin Moss, you have time to throw a party. LMAO, I'm flying to Grand Cayman at 6 a.m. out of Austin tomorrow, so no. Austin is a brother or some sort of relative to Chris. Miranda is trying to party, looks like. Yeah, Gus. It's going to be at the House of Kings. I do believe. I don't have the exact info on it, but Reese was talking about it the last time he was here, and we'll probably have a contingent of players from West Texas that will be going out there to far West Texas to represent and try and bring home the money. Blind versus blind battle. This is going to be coming up quite a bit on this final table due to the dynamics. Small blind, Paul in the small blind with middle pair. Coach flops top pair. Luckily enough, Paul leads and coach raises him. Paul folds fairly quickly. Does not think that coach is up to any funny business. Coach is telling him that he has his 7 beat, and he did indeed have it beat. Austin, his boy, you got his son in the chat. I got you guys. I was up there a few nights ago playing one too. Oh, I remember. Yes, sir. I was dealing for a bit, and then I sat down at the table. Your dad actually told me to take it easy on you. He said, don't stack my son. And I did agree to be gentle if we were involved in a pot. We never did get involved, but yeah, man, thanks for tuning in. I'm sure you got a good sweat seeing your pops in here. Shane here goes all in from +1 with ace-10 of diamonds. Nassim puts it in. Mandatory call with the ladies again. The ladies are hot tonight. They just keep on coming. Nassim with black queens. Hunter with pocket 7s. Hands are going to be tabled. Shane covers. So if he loses this pot, he is going to be down but not completely out. He will be back about 1 big blind in a chip in a chair sort of situation. Nassim trying to double up. But if Shane does happen to find an ace, that will be GG's to him. Gus says I played there in Sun City. Right on. Right on, right on. Yeah, poker in Texas is quite fun. There's action pretty much everywhere you go. It looks like to me. Flop is safe, turn is safe, and river is safe for Nassim. He is going to cripple Shane, leave him with very little behind, and going to find a timely double up for himself. The people in chat. People, Gus, are if you want to check it out on Facebook, the ladies and Moss's son are chatting on the Facebook page. We stream on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So there is a separation between the chats. I have them all connected on my side, but we have 17 viewers on Facebook, 14 on YouTube, and 3 people viewing on Twitch. If you want to see what they got cooking on the other chat rooms, you can do that. Give us a follow, give us a like on all the rooms. It would be much appreciated for sure. You know, all the likes and interaction that we can get does help us here on the stream. I do appreciate it. Shane here all in for less than 1 big blind with the king in his hand, king deuce offsuit. Moss raises, finds no resistance with ace queen offsuit. There's an ace. Drills it. Miranda speaks it into existence. He smacks the ace and then smacks the queen right behind it. The energy coming through for Moss. Pretty sick. Miranda, he is going to have to, he owes you one. I mean, it wouldn't have hurt him too bad if he lost it, but it's pretty cool. Welcome to poker. It's a pretty sick game. Started off this final table with 10 players. 3 have been eliminated so far. Leaves us with 7. Final 7 are Paul, Coach, Hunter, Daryl, Nassim, Moss, and Ruben. Moss raising up under the gun here off of about 40 bigs with king, queen 10 suited. Is able to take down the blinds, does not find any action from the others around the table. Got our newly crowned general manager, Mr. Chase Menendez, here in the booth, checking things out, making sure that we're not making too much of a mess here in the dungeon. Sound booth master. And we do have the beautiful Brianna here in the box dealing to us now. Man, Moss has a fan base, let me tell you, boy. Good for him. Michelle Pounders, that's a hilarious name. And Jordan, any stream, can you hear the table talk? Yeah, you know what, Jordan? I actually came in earlier. There's a low line hum that pops up when we try and get the table talk mic'd up. So We're working on that. It's been quite a while now. We do have all the equipment, but there is some technical issues. It's something that we're working on. I was working on it earlier. I think I'll be able to figure it out. So within a couple of streams, I'll get it going. One way or another, there has to be a solution, and I'll find it. But yeah, that would be fun. It's such an important part of poker, and you get a sense of who's yapping, who's got chirping chips, as we say in the poker world, and the quiet ones are usually the ones that aren't doing too good. They're hurting, so they don't got much to say. But yeah, we'll get there. I will make it happen. Nassim here with a suited king raises it up, takes down the blinds. Nassim the Dream sitting on cloud 9 with that shirt of his is looking like he came down straight from heaven or something. Daryl rocking the red. Paul with the plaid. Hunter with the print. Coach with the sportsman swag. Like his look. And Moss with, I think he has a Jesus shirt on. Jesus strong for sure. Like the color, subdued West Texas look. I'm a big fan of brown. If you don't already know, I wear quite a lot of brown and earth tones. It's not very flashy, and I do think that's a cool look. Kind of soft spoken. Paul here with king high. He is fairly sticky. I'm curious whether or not he will continue through a call here. He does fold. Calls the flop and lets it go on the turn. I think a check there would lead to some suspicion on the river from Nassim. Bet the flop, make it look like a stab. Check and give just give that look to Paul, and then after Paul checks the river, or even better yet, if he hits his king, then he will probably bet into you. If he hits his 10 as well, you make some more chips. But Nassim likes to win big pots, play big pots, so if he flops something as strong as trips, he's going to keep betting and trying to put chips into the pot. Do not fault him for it. He makes some he plays some big hands and makes some massive stacks at the table quite often because of that. I'm gonna pull up the Road to Vegas flyer. This is the final weekend of this I suppose qualification series that we have. This is one of two 10K main event seats that will be given away. The season started March 9th, and the final tournament to qualify was May the 20th, a couple days ago, Tuesday, I believe. Right now we are taking a look at the final 7 players of the Tournament of Champions. The Tournament of Leaders will be taking place on Sunday at 3 p.m. Get back into the action. Daryl from under the gun sitting on 7.5. Big blinds, goes all in with his king. From under the gun, Nassim with Jack 10 suited. It is a beautiful hand for sure, but not the quality of hand that we want to be using to call off an all in from under the gun. That hand benefits a lot from initiative. It benefits from having a deeper stack. And right now, as we are sitting so short stacked, Jack high goes down in value quite a bit. High cards are what we are looking for in situations like this. Nassim thinks better of it and does go ahead and fold. Moss now with a pair, wielding a big stack to go along with it. Does not want to be flipping or dominated versus Daryl. Pocket five is not quite big enough of a pair to continue with. So he does let it go. The final potential opponent Daryl has to face is Hunter. Has a bad hand. And he does fold. So Daryl does pick up a blind and a half. Give himself a little bit of breathing room to hopefully find some big cards and put himself back in the running. Him and Coach are both in what is essentially the same situation stack-wise. Paul also now sitting short stacked after bleeding off a little bit. Daryl is sitting on 40K, and he is the short stack. Everyone else is about twice that, somewhere between 16 and 20. Nassim with 150, Moss with 210K roughly, Ruben with 150K. A raise and take it down from Ruben there. It's going to be a lot of that. Gus says we need a sportsbook station set up in the room. Unfortunately, that's not going to be happening anytime soon, I wouldn't expect, but that would be a whole lot of fun. You know, there's always someone in the room that's sweating a game or two, as you know. But yeah, that would be pretty cool. We can get some sportsbook running. The government likes to get their cut, and gambling is not something that is very encouraged, especially in the Bible Belt. Ah, poor Brianna. She looks exhausted. Absolutely exhausted. Poor girl. So Coach here in the cutoff does decide to go all in for 86K. Nassim with an ace lets it go. It was significant in terms of size. You know, if Coach was shorter, then Nassim could consider calling off. Firstly, because it would not damage his stack as much, but also because the shorter that your opponent gets, the wider they are forced to go all in with. And so with an ace in your hand, you'll be ahead far more often versus their range, like the cool kids like to say. In that spot, when Coach goes all in for so much, he is representing a very tight range. Ace 5 does not perform well for us in those sorts of situations. Got Ruben now with a suited ace under the gun, is going to open it up. And we'll see if Moss continues with 7-5 off. He does not. Again, a raise and take it down from one of our players. Let's see if I can get the stack sizes to stay up. And we can talk about that a little bit. Blinds at 2.55K. So we got Daryl sitting on same, about 7.5 bigs. Coach, dang nabbit, doesn't want to stay. The story of final tables and of tournament poker in general is always how many big bets you have in your stack. And so monitoring that and making sure you're well aware of where your opponents stand is critical. Key part of it for sure. Moss in a blind versus blind situation here versus Ruben, who has quite a lot of chips, does decide to complete from the small blind, flops a pair, goes ahead and bets it. Ruben check behind with ace-6 offsuit. He does go ahead and call here instead of raising on the flop. 2 of spades on the turn. Moss does not have a spade in his hand, but he does pick up a gut shot to the wheel. Ruben with the ace of spades in his hand working decides to check through. Moss open mucks the King of Hearts river. No, it looks like he checked. Ruben bet 5K and he went ahead and let it go. Coach here under the gun with ace-jack offsuit. Gonna go ahead and raise it up. Pocket deuces for Moss on the button. Is gonna continue through a call, try and hit a set here on the flop. He might potentially stick around. He has position. And so on a flop like 10-4-3, if coach decides to c-bet, Moss will not be going anywhere. Sitting with a pair, 3-2 a straight, and 3-2 a flush. Coach checks it over to Moss. Moss does bet. He's ahead of all of the Broadway cards in coach's range. Ace high, king high, queen high. He is behind various 4x and 3x combinations as well as the middling pairs under the 9. I'm not sure if coach is going to be checking 9s, 8s, 7s, 6s, etc. after hitting this flop. Coach does decide to continue. He has an ace of diamonds in his hand. He does have the 2 overs as well. Tanks to think of his decision, to contemplate his decision, and comes with a call. Checks over a 6 of spades turn to Moss. Moss now picks up a gut shot to a 6 high straight. And again, very often he is just ahead here of many of the cards in coach's range. So he does bet, gets a fold out of coach, gets him to fold out his equity. A nice hand from Chris. Looks like there is a break. They are going to be coloring up, guys. I'm going to take a quick break. Well, let me see if I can get, yeah, we're going to have to take a quick break. I didn't prepare a pause screen for you guys, but there is going to be a small break, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, guys, we're back. Let's see if I missed anything. Had to go use the restroom real quick. It seems like still have all 7 in the mix. Daryl on the short stack. Moss with the big stack. So, yep. Zach tuning in. What's up, brother? MJ, he didn't call the flop. He donked. I don't know. I missed something. I be missing stuff, brother. My bad. Playing, so can't watch right now, but it's Team Nassim, the dream, baby. Blaze, what's up, Dougie? Hope all is well. Yes, sir. We out here in the mix, doing well on this Friday evening. Was out there chopping it up for a little bit. I'm back. Do a little commentary here on this final table of this Tournament of Champions. Moss with pocket 8s, opening the hijack. Raises to 15K with blinds at 6K. Gets a fold. Takes it down. Picks up a blind and a half. Let's see. Take a look at the VPIPs for a second. This is not something that we will commonly see from these players, but with the format of this tournament, winner take all, there's not going to be a lot of speculation and crazy gambling. Coach with the highest VPIP at 26%, and Hunter at the bottom of the VPIP list at 11%. Only 43 hands deep, though, so not a very big sample. Not going to mean too much. Paul limps in with an offsuit ace-6 from the cutoff. Coach goes ahead and sticks it in with ace-9 off from the button. Daryl here in a spot, sitting on the shortest stack at the table. Only 5 big blinds ahead of a limp from the cutoff and an all-in from the button. It is something that he can definitely consider calling with, but very often you're just going to be dominated. You run into a lot of hands like ace, king, ace, queen, ace, jack, king, queen. King 10, I don't think plays that way from Coach, so I do like the fold from Daryl. There is also a wide variety of pairs that Coach is going to have in that spot. You are flipping against those, but overall, not a great spot to put in your 5 big blinds with. He loses a half of a big here, and he's going to have a couple of hands in late position to pick up the blinds if he finds a hand that he can shove with in late position. So that is the hope right now for Daryl. Brianna looks exhausted right here. Very, very pretty, very tired. But she's sticking it out here, doing her work. Paul in the hijack, ace-9 offsuit does raise it up to 12K. And the seam completes from the big blind with king 10 off. Flops top pair. Paul decides to c-bet for half pot with his ace high. Nassim, of course, calls with top pair. Turn checks through. River checks through as well. Paul does not want to stab. Ace high has plenty of showdown value there in that spot. And many of the pairs are not going to be folded by Nassim in that spot. He is beating a good amount of hands. He is also behind a good amount of hands. And so I do like the give up by Paul there in that spot. Ruben here under the gun with ace-9 of hearts. Hunter finds ace-queen from the cutoff. 13 big blinds in a stack. Not much else to do other than go all in. He does go ahead and do that. It's going to be folding around to Ruben with the ace-9 of hearts. I do not expect to see him put in any more chips to this pot. He does let it go. So we got the road to Vegas, West Texas. Flush frenzy for anyone that has not been to the club. If you want to share the idea with any of your local clubs, it is a promotion that brings in a ton of value to the club, brings a lot of action and excitement, something that the masterminds here at KoJack's came up with originally in Fort Worth, I believe, at Poker House Fort Worth. We have a hand here, brewing, guys. Daryl with an ace-8 offsuit from the cutoff decides to go all in, and he runs into a bunch of different hands. Paul here, Paul raises under the gun with ace-queen of clubs. Daryl puts in the remainder of his stack, about 5 big blinds with ace-8 off. Ruben shoves over the top with ace-king. He has both of his opponents dominated. We are going to see what the flop brings us. It's anybody's game right now. We see that Ruben has 54% equity. Both Daryl and Paul sitting at around 23%. Daryl actually has a little bit more equity than Paul with his middling card. He has the ace of hearts working, and he also has the spades covered. So 4 spades or 4 hearts, Daryl is going to take it down. If he can somehow find an 8 and fade the king and the queen, he will also be tripling up here in this spot. Brianna just getting the pots right before she puts out the community cards for us. King 5-3. Ruben does find some chop outs here on the turn. He does find a king, and it looks like he is going to be eliminating Daryl, and he has crippled Paul in a big way. Paul has about a big blind and a half left in his stack. Do not fault him for putting in all those chips with ace-queen suited. He could consider folding because Ruben is not light in that spot. But again, ace-queen suited is quite a strong hand. He's not able to let it go. And so he does put the chips in and find himself in a bad situation when a king comes on the flop. I am plugging in right now to the Poker Atlas House of Kings page to try and get information on that July tournament to see if we can give them a little bit of a shout out here on the stream. They have shown us a lot of support in the past, so try and give a little love back. I don't see it. It does not seem like they've posted anything yet, but there is going to be an awesome tournament coming up in July. Here it is. Anniversary tourney coming up in July, 200K guarantee. There is no additional information, but it will be in July and it will be a 200K guarantee. So there's going to be about 40,000 or so going to first place. And I think the buy-in is going to be a couple $100. So that's worth checking out for sure. Ruben is going to cool off Paul here. Queen Jack 3 flop. Blind versus blind. Flops bottom set versus overcard and open ender to the nut straight for Paul. He puts in the rest of his chips as he should and does not find a straight on the run out. Going to be eliminated in 6th place. Good game, sir. Gonna go ahead and pull up the chip stacks for you guys. Get a lay of the land a bit. 70K for Coach. Ruben with the big stack at 280K. Moss at 200K. Nassim with 160K and Hunter with about 100K. And chips blinds at 3K, 6K. Coach sitting on about 11.5 big blinds, and Ruben with nearly 50. So, yeah, again, guys, from the start of the final table, when it was 10-handed, we are now down to 5, and the ratio between the short stack and the big stack has remained constant. About 10 big blinds for the short stack, 50 big blinds for the big stack. There's a balance to the game, math-wise, that is always taking place. Very interesting for sure, in my opinion. Got Ruben here opening up to 13K with 10-8 of diamonds. Coach here flops quite well on an ace queen 3 2 diamond board. Has a gut shot to the wheel as well as a flush draw, which he cannot fold. He does so happen to be in a very bad situation as Ruben has his diamonds dominated. He needs to hit a black card or a heart that is in the wheel section of the deck. Otherwise, he will be eliminated here. Jack of spades, 5. No, that was an 8 of clubs. There was a little bit of a misread from the reader. Coach is going to be going out in 5th place here. GG, sir. And well played. Just a tough spot. Looks like Ruben has overtaken the big stack position from Moss. They are neck and neck at right around 200,000 in chips. Nassim right under at 160K in chips, and Hunter at about 100. It is anyone's game at this point. There is not going to be a lot of post flop. There will be opportunities for stabs and steals and things like that, but for the most part, there is going to be a collision of big hands that will decide the outcome here for our Tournament of Champions. Nassim under the gun raises the two bigs with Queen Jack of Hearts. Ruben continuing from the cutoff. Pocket fours. Going to try and find a four on the flop. Hunter, ace three of spades, does complete from the big blind. Jack 9-5. On the flop, Nassim does flop top pair. And he is going to get folds from the other two players. I will pull up the stacks for you, Magnolia. Moss and Rube about neck and neck. Nassim has chipped up in that spot right there. Takes some chips from Moss and Hunter. And it is, yeah, basically the three of them are neck and neck, you know? Even if you're up 10K or 15K, it's pretty insignificant at this stage of the tournament. So, you know, a big blind or two is not going to be enough to put pressure on people with. You're basically in the same sort of risk profile as the other players. Crystal in the chat cheering on Ruben. What's up, Crystal? Thanks for tuning in. Glad to see you the other day accepting a position here. She is recently become a member of our team here at KoJack's. One of the better dealers that we have here in the area, if not the best. Has a ton of experience as a dealer. I think she's had some experience as well as a floor, and so it's good to have her on the team. I'm definitely going to take some pointers from Ms. Swanson to try and get better as a dealer and, you know, give a better experience to the players. I'm a little bit slow right now as a dealer, but we'll get there. No big deal. Ruben here under the gun with a suited ace is going to raise it up. Hunter with Jack 6 of clubs. Not enough of a hand to continue with. Moss folds his 10-9 offsuit versus Ruben. I think versus Nassim, he probably takes a flop since yeah, you got a good point, Magnolia, for sure. The chip counts are off. I see what you're saying. I'm not even looking at the chip stacks on the table. I'm just going off of the... Huh? Give me a second. I'm going to check in on it, Magnolia. And, yeah, Crystal, I feel the same. Love that you're here back with us. Give me one sec. We're going to go out there right now and get an update on the stacks. We'll get them all recounted, and we are going to be changing out decks. There has been an issue with the card reader with this deck, so we'll probably give them a short break to check in with their family and friends and all that good stuff, check their phones. and it'll give us an opportunity to get the stack sizes correct. Moss has about 150 plus 15, so he's got about 165. Naseem looks to have around, I guess it could be 200 roughly, but it looks like under 200 to me. And Ruben sitting with 225 plus 50. Yeah, close to 300. Thank you for pointing that out, Magnolia. Good eye. We appreciate you, brother. We will get that figured out for you. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. Yeah, I think Naseem's stacks are a little bit over 20 chips, so that's maybe a little bit over 100K in that stack. We'll get it sorted out. It is going to be 15 minutes from now. We are on a lag of 15 minutes on the stream, so it'll take us a bit to get our operator here in the back to switch out those decks and get the updated chip counts. So we're going to be off for a little bit, but we will get that issue fixed. Again, Magnolia, thank you for the attention. Also, Magnolia, drop in the chat, where are you tuning in from? If you come in and play, I'm sure we can comp you a free daily membership in maybe an hour or two for your presence here with us today, keeping us in line. We'd love to have you out here on the felt. Spend some time with us. Naseem flops top pair here in the big blind after Moss raises under the gun with ace 10-0. Naseem checks the flop. Moss bets and gets a call from Naseem with top pair. Turn checks through. And now on the 9 of diamonds river, Naseem checks and Moss puts the rest of the chips in. That is a disgusting spot for him. I honestly don't know if Moss has it in him to be bluffing here. That is the question that Naseem is asking himself. Sizing up Moss, trying to get a read on him, looking at his body language, looking at his posture, thinking about the various combinations that Moss could have, where he bets the flop, checks back turn. He will have quite a few heart combinations and ace high combinations. But with those hands that miss on this river, I don't expect Moss to be pulling the trigger and turning a busted flush draw or an ace high type of hand, king high type of hand into a bluff. When he goes all in here on this river, Naseem's range is quite 10x heavy, and he will have a lot of coverage. So I think that Moss is probably only going all in with a straight there, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Just so happens that he does have it this time. In poker, it is important not to make decisions based on the outcome or the current, I guess you could say the current, like manifestation that that is presenting itself. There is a bunch of situations that can happen, and you have to make your decisions based on all of the all of the various situations that happen. Nassim the Dream there folding 9-7 offsuit. It is his favorite hand, and he very often, like almost always, scoops a giant pot when he plays it. He does decide to lay it down here in this tournament. It's a high pressure situation. 4 people left. One person walking away with an $11,000 package. And I think it would be fun to have seen a run out there. Nassim looking up at the camera. And, he wanted the shout out there. But yeah, that is his favorite hand. And he does run extremely well and win some big pots with it for sure. Kind of crazy how it works out, but I've seen it time and time again. Magnolia, we appreciate you, man. And we got Magnolia rooting for Ruben, so definitely a middling guy, I would expect. And again, thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Chris Moss here raising it up with King, Queen, blind versus blind. Ruben has 10 deuce offsuit. Cannot continue with that hand. He does let it go. He's saying something. He's saying something to Moss. Rube is not a very chatty person. He's the kind of dude that speaks seldom, speaks softly, but carries a big stick. He's not much of a yapper, very, very jolly in his demeanor. He's a good man, in my opinion. Don't know much of his life story or anything like that, but that's my read. Ruben's good people. Is going to continue through a call here with his suited wheel ace. From the small blind, Hunter is checking back with 4 deuce off. Flop comes down ace high. I expect to see a bet here from Ruben on a two-tone flop where there's a flush draw to protect from. He checks it over to Hunter and is able to get a bet out of Hunter. He comes out with a check call on the flop. Turn brings in a 9 of diamonds. Ruben checks it over to Hunter again. Hunter checks back. King of hearts on the river. And now Rube is going to come with a bet. 32K in the pot. He bets 8K. And Hunter, with the second worst hand possible, goes ahead and lets it down. Magnolia says Ruben looks like John Prine. I'm not gonna lie, brother. I don't know who John Prine is. I'm gonna look it up on my phone. I'm trying to get an idea. What are you talking about? Now got Ruben raising the button here with ace 4 offsuit. Hunter, I would imagine, folds his small blind. Nassim the Dream with queen 7 of clubs. Let me see what's going on here. This is an interesting spot. Not too sure if the action is correct. But looks like there was a raise from Ruben. Nassim calls, Flop checks through on a Jack 8-3 two-tone flop. Deuce of clubs on the turn. Nassim bets out into Ruben. Ruben does pick up a gut shot as well as the ace high that he has right now. He doesn't look like he wants to combat this bet from Nassim. Nassim does have a fair amount of pairs. Is able to find a nice bet and take down the pot from Ruben. Magnolia, you think Rube looks like John Prine? I guess I could see a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if I completely agree. But yeah, I guess I can see it. Rube's better looking than this John Prine guy, though. I will say that. That John Prine dude started looking kind of funny in his older years. He's got a weird jaw. But all right. Hunter on the button with a king in his hand. Goes ahead and goes all in. He is going to be raising into 6 high and 5 high, so he does take down those blinds. Very nice. Very nice hand from Hunter. He is the lowest in chips right now, so he has the least amount to lose. You definitely don't want to go out softly with a short stack. Not a lot of pressure right now. They are not nowhere near getting to the money. You have to take all the chips on the table in order to accomplish that. So if you play your short stack too softly, it makes it very difficult to make it all the way to the end. There's people in 2 different camps as far as like, not busting yourself versus playing aggressively and taking down blinds. I've seen both styles win tournaments. So it's a matter of preference, I suppose. Hunter here under the gun. After the last takedown, he chipped up to 9 big blinds. Ace 8 offsuit. Goes all in. Moss folds a pair from the small blind. There's going to be a lot of flips going on right now. This is anybody's game. It's now just a matter of who gets lucky at the right time. And again, they are pretty close to neck and neck. No one is too far ahead by any means. Can't quite see Ruben's stack from here, but he does definitely look to have the chip advantage. And Nassim folding out 4 high. Ruben is going to be in the small blind here with pocket 4s. And Hunter with an offsuit ace 10. This is going to be a collision for sure. I think Hunter will very likely have to go with it, being the short stack here in this hand. And Ruben with a pair is probably going to call it off after Hunter goes all in. Yep, as expected. Ruben raises, Hunter goes all in, and Ruben snaps it off. This is par for the course in tournament poker. Great flop for Hunter. Picks up 4 queens along to go with his pair outs. 5 of clubs on the turn. Critical river. It is a board pairing 9. So we do see Hunter eliminated in 4th place. Well played, sir. You did all that you could do. And GG's on to the next one. I'm not sure if Hunter did make the points tournament of leaders, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did. I haven't kept up with the list, but he might be up there. We might be seeing him on Sunday. He is definitely one of the better tournament players that we have out here in West Texas. Here we go. Dawson coming in to change out the decks and get an update on the chip stacks for us. 3 players remain out of 25 here at KoJack's Poker Club in Midland, Texas. Got Jason pointing out something to Nassim, not too sure what. Who you guys got? To all the viewers checking in with you guys. Really appreciate you tuning in to be here with us on the stream. Drop your pick for who's going to take this down in the chat. Are you on Team Ruben, Team Moss, or Team Nassim? No, we have a strong presence for Team Moss in the house, as well as a couple for Nassim and Ruben. I'm going to be making poker content in collaboration with KoJack's Magnolia, as well as chess content. I am probably between top 5,000 and 10,000 chess players in the world online. Definitely better as a chess player than as a poker player. So the chess content has a lot of potential to do some big numbers. But yeah, I'll also be doing the poker vlogging, and eventually I'll branch out into other arenas. Do have a particular way with words, and I'm a very spiritual person. I'm kind of a hippie, so we'll do some warrior content, some mystic content, and philosophy type stuff. Maybe get into public speaking at some point, but yeah, that'll be years down the road. So we'll start off with poker and chess and go from there. Got Rudy in the chat. Mr. Borg saying, let's go, Ruben. Longtime friends. Expect to see Rudy. Oh man, I haven't checked out. Rudy, did you make it to the Tournament of Leaders? I haven't checked out the list. If so, we'll see you here on Sunday, brother. Ruben has the best shot at main event if we had to send someone. Yeah, Ruben is definitely seasoned, and his patience pays off quite a bit. In my opinion, I would like to see Nassim go and represent for us out there in the main event. He's a young blood. He's a shooter and is definitely a force to be reckoned with on the felt. Very perceptive, very gutsy and makes a lot of a lot of strong plays, and he's fun to play. He's definitely memorable in a lot of ways. Ruben, not really a memorable player. He goes under the radar. Is not going to be saying a lot. It's not going to be doing a lot of fancy stuff, but he does make it deep into events fairly often. But as far as for content and for flash and pizzazz and all that, I'd like to see Nassim go far. Moss has been doing quite well in these past few weeks in tournaments. So if he's running good, man, I wouldn't hate it to see him out there in the main event running deep and pulling in big old pots and bringing some money back home. Don't really have a preference either way. Just want to support everyone that we have here in the community, and would be happy to see anybody do well. It looks like Rudy did, in fact, make it into the tournament of leaders. Well done, sir. We will see you here on Sunday. I will be commentating on Sunday as well, so if anybody wants to check it out, tune in on Sunday. I'll try to give a little bit of insight into what's going on that final table. It will be 9 players playing for the second seat of this series. Nassim here picks up Pocket Rockets, the Black Aces. Moss decides to continue blind versus blind with King 5-0. Flop comes down Jack, Jack 4. 7 of spades on the turn. Nassim checks twice here, out of position. Tomas, Queen of Spades on the river. He does check once again, and Moss is going to check back his king high. He does have a fair amount of showdown value here, does not decide to turn it into a bluff. Magnolia says Nassim raises too many marginal hands from early position and will get 3 and 4 bet too much off of his hands. Yeah, he's definitely on the aggressive side of the spectrum. He has shown an evolution as a player over these past couple weeks. And, it takes a certain image. Nassim is able to set up an image for himself where he can get paid off. He is an exciting player that is willing to go for it in big spots. Yeah, just in terms of excitement, he's definitely a more exciting player than Big Rube here. Again, it's a matter of styles. Everyone fights in their own way, and Ruben is the one with the big stack here, so it's like the what is it called, the tortoise and the hare. Nassim would be the hare and Ruben would be the tortoise, and that parable is around for a reason. Slow and steady does win the race more often than someone who's trying to outrun the pack too quickly and ends up beating themselves. Rudy says if Ruben wins tonight, it will open a seat for someone on Sunday. Yes, sir. Yes, so Ruben, I think, is probably the only person on the Sunday ticket for those final 9. So if he wins tonight, he will be removed from the tournament on Sunday to give an opportunity to somebody else to win a seat into the main event. So that would be a good result for somebody. It would be like a pleasant surprise for sure. I like that all the 3 remaining players are on the same side of the table. Makes it easier for the dealers to get the cards out. In three-handed play, there's going to be a lot of lulls in the action. We're just waiting for some coolers to show up, you guys. I'm going to pull up the stack sizes. I think that these are correct. Moss now on the short stack with 172K, Nassim with 260K, and Ruben with 380K. Rudy says he believes Paul is in the 10th spot. Yeah, you know what? Paul did actually mention that to me earlier. I forgot. He is hoping that Ruben can take it down, and then Paul Strassner, who was chip leader for much of this final table, will make it into the tournament of leaders. So he is definitely on Team Ruben right now. Nassim here, blind versus blind. Proceeds through a call. Pre-flop. Moss checks back 6-4 of clubs. Waiting for the flop to show up here on the RFID. It looks like Nassim is going to be leading into... Yeah, not too sure. Jack 4-3, Queen Jack. With backdoor flush coming in is the board. Nassim here with 8 high. He has a spade in his hand. I'm curious whether or not he will unload the clip here. He does have the 7 of spades working. Moss has plenty of 4x and 3x that Nassim can target. And he does go ahead and target that with a bet of 80,000 on this river. If Moss can find this call, that would be pretty sick. Would be absolutely sick. Hearts do miss. There's straight draws that Moss is blocking with the 6 of clubs. It reduces the combinations of straight draws. The 6, not so much as the 5, but it is definitely a factor. Mainly if he calls here, he is going to be trying to pick off the missed hearts. We do see that Nassim doesn't even have that. He has a pretty random hand. This is just pure poker. Cards don't really have anything to do with it for Nassim. He does have the 7 of spades in his hand, so less likely that Moss has a flush. Moss smelled something fishy about that situation, but was not able to make the call. He folds. Nassim pushes his hand over to give Moss a look, and Moss is disgusted right now. He had the right read, but was not able to trust himself. It is a big spot, and Magnolia, that's the sort of thing that Ruben just isn't. It's not in his wheelhouse. He's at no point ever is Ruben going to be making any kind of plays like that, and that is the excitement that I was referring to. Moss, a well-known tilter, does go on tilt and go all in with his 10-4 offsuit. He is quite upset. Moss, a good player, but very emotional. He is giving Nassim the evil eye. And yeah, that's poker, you guys. Controlling your emotions is a big part of the game. A lot of people lose a lot of money by letting their emotions get the best of them. It is a perfect parallel to life. If you let your emotions get the best of you, you do not make the best sorts of decisions. whether it be in relationships or with money involved or whatever the case may be. So one thing that is part of poker that you learn to control your emotions as a poker player, but it does not always translate, and sometimes we never learn that skill set as players. Yeah, MJ says salty. Miranda, completely in agreement. You know, Moss is a tilter for sure. When I'm at the table with Moss, I try to give him a lot of needles. I talk a lot of smack to Moss because I'm aware that he is pretty easy to get upset. And when people are upset, they play worse. So I give him a bunch of crap whenever I'm at the table with him and try and get in his head. It's just mental warfare. You know, if I take up space in his mind or get his emotions stirred up, then it is profitable for me sitting on the other side of the table from him. So I talk a lot of smack to Moss when I'm at the table with him. But yeah, that was a sick hand. Nassim, I expect, was targeting specifically the sort of hand that Moss had. You know, 4x. He will have a fair amount of 3x as well, and does decide to barrel the turn and ship it on the river. That was good stuff. Very very sexy poker, I would say. So GG from him, and man, that would have been a great call by Moss. Got a couple of hands that unfolded. Not much to talk about. Now got Nassim on the button with 10-8 of spades. This is going to be a hand that he will get involved with. He decides to proceed through a limp with Ruben sitting on a big stack. He doesn't want to raise here and play a big pot. Wants to wait for Moss to bust out, seeing as Moss is sitting so short. Limits for 10K. Ruben raises 25K on top. One black chip. Checks on a 6-3 deuce two-tone board. Nassim checks back. Ruben with a bit of a grin, a confident presence, and a big grin on his face. Puts out a bet on the turn. An ace of diamonds. Nassim is going to float on the button with a complete airball. And I think he was probably going to be representing if a fourth diamond came on the river. He is feeling himself a little bit too much. Looks like he is going to be betting here on this turn. 113K in the pot. He bets 65K into roughly 115K. About 2/3 pot. In a spot like this, I would like to see a more polarized bet from Nassim. He is just giving Ruben too good of a price to call off here with his ace X. And he does, in fact, call. And picks off the bluff from Nassim with a complete air ball. Very, very, very double-edged sword to play in the style that Nassim has. You know, he was able to find a successful play versus Moss. And, you know, the fancy play syndrome, as they call it, does kick in at times. And he finds himself a victim of it in that hand. I think very frequently Ruben is going to have an ace. And so when you bet that river, you want to choose a sizing that will fold out. His ace X 65K into 115K does not accomplish that. And so I would like to see a give up there from Nassim, or use a much more polarized sizing. It is definitely playing with fire to try and do that versus someone like Ruben. So a fold on the turn would have been the correct decision, I think. He does decide to go for it, and respect to him. The best part was he showed afterwards. Yeah, Carter, that was pretty sick. You know, the way he passed him the cards. Just slyly push him, hit the hand. And then I'm sure Moss was expecting to, when people do that to you, that you're expecting to look down at the goods. And he peels the hand, and it's just a whole lot of nothing. So yeah, that was pretty nice from Nassim there. Ruben's not Moss. He would be better off to remember that. Yeah, 100%. You don't want to be picking on Rube. Rube has a strong range when he continues. Whereas, like in other words, Ruben will lay down a lot of marginal hands. And so when he continues, his range is a lot more protected. Whereas Moss is willing to come along with ace high, king high. Like he'll float and he'll battle a bit. And so he has a weaker range. He does have, high card hands and bottom pairs and a lot of other stuff that Ruben, he folds out, So going for it versus Moss is one thing. Going for it versus Ruben, another thing entirely. We do have Nassim going all in here on the button with ace-6 offsuit. The ace is strong enough to go all in with. Blinds are at 5K, 10K. He has 15 and a half big blinds. Moss here with Jack 10 with about the same. And he is out for vengeance. He turns over his cards with authority and is ready to gamble in the seam. Iceman says, let's go Ruben 6.0. Those jokers can't keep up. Yeah, for real. If Moss is 2.0, Ruben he's version 6.0 at least. He's been through some evolutions in his life, to be sure. Carter says he wouldn't bluff me here, would he? Yeah, basically that's the only thing that could be going through his head. There's no way he's bluffing, which dude, it's usually not a bluff. And Nassim decides to turn it on, and he put it on him for sure. Vince in the chat, what's up, brother? Vince on team Nassim. King 9 deuce. 2 diamonds. Diamonds not working for the Jack 10 of Moss. He does pick up 4 queens to go along with his pair outs, but Nassim does hit an ace on the turn. And on any card except for a queen, Moss is going to be eliminated. It does come a 4 of spades. And there we have it, you guys. We are heads up. Nassim does get the best of Moss. Moss does go on tilt and call off there with Jack 10. Happens to the best of us. I don't think there's any way to completely overcome your tilt as a human being. We all have emotions, and it hurts to be bested in any sort of field, and to lose is plenty painful, and all those things get our emotions going and make our decision making a little bit worse. Sup, MJ? Run good. MJ says, thank you. Always disappointing to final table and bust, but hey, that's soccer. That's poker. It must have been a typo or a autocorrect situation. Miranda, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you'll stick around to see who takes the seat. Moss had a good run for sure, but he is our third place finisher. Walks away with a bronze medal and a pocket full of lint. Yeah, in a heads-up situation, Magnolia, I agree. Nassim probably has an edge here because he's able to be creative and, he doesn't necessarily have to wait for the hand. Ruben is not a stranger to these sorts of situations. He does definitely have an idea or two of how to adjust to a heads up battle. Iceman says bronze medal. What's that pay? Yeah, it pays a whole lot of nothing, brother. Only the gold medal is going to be paying out in this particular tournament, but he does have a deep run to be proud of. Other than that, he's going out with not much at all. But it's a story. He did do well, played well, and again, whoever goes out in second, they will walk away with a silver medal and just as much lint as Mr. Moss. Carter says, don't underestimate Rube. Yeah, I don't underestimate Rube at all. He's an old hound for sure, part of the old guard. And he's taken down plenty of tournaments for good reason. He does have a chip advantage right now over Nassim. Nassim sitting with 300K, Ruben sitting with 500K, nearly double in a heads-up situation. That is not that significant. Nassim has 30 big blinds. Ruben has 50 big blinds. They are basically neck and neck, in my opinion. So plenty of poker left for sure. The small stack sitting at 30 big blinds is quite a bit. We'll see how this unfolds for these two gentlemen. It looks like they're going to be going on a break. I'm going to stick around with you guys, hang out with me, and we'll play this down to a winner. Says after that call with Jack 10 off, he should go back to regular Moss, not 2.0 call. Yeah, that was a crazy call off. That was all tilt, Yeah, there's nothing else that I can really say about it. He was tilted and he was out for vengeance against Nassim, who pulled off that bluff against him. Nice to see they have plenty of chips to play the game. Yes, sir, Carter. They do have quite a bit, and we're gonna have us a heads-up battle for sure. Moss in the chat now, checking it out. Says 100% knew my four was good. Prime example of not trusting the read. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I was talking about. Moss is, you knew, you smelt that there was something funny in the air. Tough spot for sure. Not easy not easy at all. But you had the right read, just was not able to find the call. Saying you talk a lot for not making final table. Yeah, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just kind of yapping in here. But I'm getting paid for it, so it can't be too bad. One of these days I am gonna pick up like a bunch of sets in a tournament, and then I'm gonna do all right myself, you know. But yeah, good run, Chris. You played well today. Would have been a sick call. That would have been legendary. If you could have found it, I know you wanted to, for sure. But it's all good, you know. Rudy asking who's your pick for Sunday. I'll let you guys chime in. I'm not sure who has. I don't have the full sheet, you know. So I don't know who my pick is gonna be. I don't. You know, poker's a tough game. There's a lot of variance involved. I can give my opinion on who has the edge. I'll tell you what. I'll be right back. Let me see who has the seats on Sunday. If Ruben is able to take this down, he will allow Paul into that tournament. So I'll check out the list and I'll be right back, you guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. So waiting for an update of that tournament of leaders. I'm not too sure um who's going to be on that final table, but should be good for sure. Miranda in the chat, Vince in the chat, Rudy in the chat, MJ in the chat, Magnolia. I'm gonna have them send it in to me, Magnolia. They have one out there, but it's not updated. You just text me the list. All right, cool. I got part of the last longer. I was almost there, couldn't get the call in. Stick to commentary. Yeah, Moss, you know, you're definitely a better player than me. I would say your results speak for themselves. I act like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't really know how to play poker. I just like to make believe and pretend. But you know, people like to play along with me, so I don't mind it too much. Maybe one day I will maybe one day I'll do something cool, like win $1 million or something like that. We'll see. Could happen. So what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so Paul is going to be hopping into it. Okay, so we got Daryl, we got Coach, we got Rube, we got Tony Love, we got George, we got Rudy, we got MJ, we got Duplantis, and we have Paul Ferris. Man, and I'm also not paying attention to the stream at all. I'm just looking at this list. Yeah, I appreciate the support, you guys. You know, it's all in good fun. I just like seeing everybody improve and do better. Eventually, I think my success will come around. But until then, I'm going to stick around KoJack's and deal cards and commentate. And then maybe one day we'll have a story to tell. But we'll see. George, you know, George has a ton of experience. He comes to mind in a big way. George, I know Rudy wants to hear me say him. Sure. I don't want to offend anyone. In terms of like their understanding of the game, who has the edge? I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Daryl has a ton of experience. George has a ton of final table experience. Rudy with a ton of final table experience as well. Coach, dude, coach is sick with it, honestly. He makes a lot of nice calls in some spots. I'm gonna reserve judgment, Mr. Borg. I'm not sure who has the edge. I'll go with George just on a whim, but I'm not gonna say that with any sort of confidence. You guys all have your own styles. So Ruben here flops bottom pair. Nassim with king queen suited, a premium for sure, but on a 10 high flop he cannot continue. Heads up, in theory, you know, he could continue, but versus Rube, I think fold is pretty mandatory. No reason to go any deeper into that hole. Weenie Hut. Yo, hey, who Iceman? Who let me see if I can pull it up. Who's Iceman? Who you is, bro? Who you is? MJ Carter, Vince, and MJ in this. Yeah, guys, you know, we're all just a bunch of fish swimming up the river, trying to make our way along the journey of life. And you know, fortune and misfortune falls on all of us. There's no need to get too serious and, you know, think too highly of yourself. It's important to believe in yourself, but you know, we're all just trying to figure it out. So Nassim here defending the limp. Well, checking back the limp from Ruben. Ruben with 9-8 on the button. Nassim with queen 6. Flop comes down, queen 8-5. Nassim checks it to Ruben. Ruben does bet 18K. And Nassim decides to flat call. 6 of clubs on the turn. Ruben picks up a gut shot to a straight to go along with his middle pair. Nassim is going to be betting here on this ace of spades river. We'll see if his image gets him paid off here. Yeah, it does look like Ruben is going to be paying off this river bet on account of the image that Nassim has been building at this final table. Goes to show how important image is in the game and why setting up an image can be profitable later on. You're right, Carter. We are all a bunch of degens. For sure. There's a lot of degeneracy. And you know what's funny? The ratio of people that struggle with ADD and ADHD and that sort of thing, compulsive sort of disorders versus the people that don't struggle with that in poker is kind of crazy. It's a pattern that I've noticed quite a bit. You know, people in poker tend to be on Adderall pretty frequently, or just tend to be pretty, driven towards compulsive behavior. I guess it's just something that it does to our brain, feeds us a bit. And the seam locked in. Ruben on the button here. Completes with 8-5 offsuit. Nassim is going to raise it up to 30K with queen 10 off. A very strong hand in a heads up situation. Top of the deck. Ruben is going to come along. He will not be going softly. Flop comes down, Jack 7-4. Ruben does flop a gut shot. Nassim with 3 to a straight and a wraparound. The Jack, as well as the initiative and the betting advantage and the range advantage, rather. Three of clubs on the turn. Nassim does decide to double barrel on his zero equity turn and takes it down. Very nice hand from him. He is going to be putting a lot of pressure on Ruben here in this heads up battle, forcing him to show up with strong hands. You know, heads up is a completely different world. There's a lot of call downs that you have to make with ace high, with bottom pairs, with all kinds of hands that most people are not used to. And if you're not aware of how drastically your strategies can shift, then you're in a bad spot. It definitely takes something different if you're involved in a spot heads up like this for all of the gusto and you're pretty deep. You know, if you're sitting short, like you both are around 10 bigs or sub 20, then the hands kind of play themselves. But if you still have 30, 40, 50 big blinds, then that leaves a lot of room for post flop advantages to have effect. Nassim is showing his edge here so far. Iceman says Habibi is going down. Who is the Iceman? Who is the Iceman? Definitely a middling cat. If you know, you know. Nassim is mixed. I believe his blood is Lebanese. He has some Brazilian blood, but his family out in California are followers of Islam. He is, in fact, a Habibi. Vince says KoJack should have a heads up stream. You mean like heads up tournaments to be streamed, something like that? It's an idea. I don't know if there would be enough interest in it, and it also takes a lot of resources to get the stream going, and there's only 2 people, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I don't know if we have quite the resources to do a heads up stream, but maybe an idea for the future. You think Iceman is B done, fellas? That doesn't sound like B done to me. I know what B down sounds like, and that's not B done. B done has a lot of he just has a different ego. His voice is a lot different than Iceman's, in my opinion. Flop comes down 10-8-8. Ruben raises after Nassim flats the button. Nassim calls with queen 10 off. Ruben is going to bet 34K. Nassim raises to 80K with top pair. Ruben is going to call with his open ender. He does have 3 spades working as well. 9 of hearts. I'm going to have Dawson hopping in here.
What's going on? I think this is the big hand right here.
Is this it?
I think this is the big one. I don't think it's the one, but it's a big one.
It looks like it. Ruben does pick up the 9 on the turn, and he open shoves on Nassim.
Yeah, he had a lot less equity than what it looked like I was looking at. I thought he had a draw there for a flush too. Did not. This is definitely a difficult decision for Nassim. Still got the gut shot going for him, plus top pair.
Iceman chiming in. Says these guys guessing like they play poker basura. I wonder if it is be done. Bro, I'm going to have to go back and check this chat out real quick. He first chimed in where? Iceman. Weenie Hut Jr. Is it fucking be done? This information cannot be disclosed at this time. Bro, that doesn't sound like Braxton to me. I don't know. Habibi is going down. If you have to ask who the Iceman is, it's too late for you. These guys. Man, I don't know. Basura is definitely something that be done be saying. So, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, Chris, I agree on. I was watching. Well, when I was controlling the action, I could feel Ruben about to shove. I don't know what. I can't tell what they have back there, but seemed like his only option to win this pot, no matter what he had.
Sick bet by Ruben here. In Nassim's shoes with top pair, you have to ask yourself, as you do at every decision point, what is his range? Now, he has the over pair advantage, seeing as Nassim limped the button. Ruben raised it. Nassim called. So the top of Nassim's range is pretty well cut off Flop comes down 10-8-8. He does call it off. Good call by Naseem. A sick hand for sure. That is an interesting spot to analyze. I'm not sure what my breakdown is necessarily. Flop. We get a lead from Ruben. A raise from Naseem. Ruben calls. Now, after leading on the flop, facing a raise from Naseem, and he just calls, does he have Jacks plus? Or does he just shove those hands?
I could see him flatting back with Jacks. That's a tough one.
Just, worried about 8x.
Yeah.
You know?
Because Naseem's been real aggressive heads up from what I noticed back there. He was raising a lot.
He's raising. So when Naseem raises, what does his range look like on a 10-8-8 texture? He's raising 10x here, but overall, I think he probably will be raising his 8x. I don't think it's going to be 100% frequency. I think very often he will slow play his trips. Does he raise any of his straight draws? I don't think so. There's no flush draws available, and he doesn't have any overpairs. So it's either 10x or 8x, I think.
I'm gonna give you some insight on that.
Naseem, that dream.
All you were talking about was this, and I'm like, bro, what's your analysis on this?
On which one? Yeah, there's a lot to it. We have Naseem. In here. That was that the end of it? Yeah, I guess it's the end of it. Ruben is all in.
I mean, he has
Here.
not even one small blind after that, so that's.
You're gonna clean up right here. Is the end of it?
Yes, 6,000. The small blind is 8,000.
But do you scoop this end?
Yeah.
Okay.
But let me give the analysis on that hand, if you were wondering.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. This is gonna be the end of it, guys. We'll go ahead and finish out
I mean, you might as well at least
the
play
stream.
the last hand.
Yeah,
but
play the last hand out. Naseem is gonna give us a breakdown on what his thought process was on that final hand. I do think it's worth visiting, and we do have our KoJack's representative going to the main event this year. It's going to be a fun one for sure. Will be a great experience for him. He might run really deep. I do see that as a possibility. Earlier in the year, Naseem did have a dream about winning the main event, and so it would be
that'd
beyond
be
sick.
That'd be insane.
It would be
You always have to play with house money. The house money is the luckiest money,
for sure.
and that's it.
Queen takes it down here. GG's Rube. He played a sick hand. He made you
That was
think
a
about
sick
it.
play. I mean, I don't know if you can do a replay or not. If they have a replay capabilities, but I could walk you through.
Let me see. You know what? I don't know if. Let me see.
Have you guys ever done that before?
No. But we can talk it over.
All right. Well, I'll
Like,
tell you. So
pretend it's a
So I'm on the
Podcast.
button with Queen 10, right?
right.
So Ruben raises pre, and then I just flat because I'm like, you know what? I want to keep his range wide, and I just want to play a hand. Queen 10 plays pretty decently, and I wanted to switch it up. Like I didn't want to just do the same thing over and over, raise, fold, whatever. So I said, okay, look, I'm just gonna call Queen 10, see a flop 10-8-8. He leads, I think 34K, and I say, okay, top pair, good kicker. I'm gonna raise it up, make it 80K. Ruben calls. Turn, offsuit 9.
Wait. So when you raise the flop, what is your thought process?
So when
after?
I'm raising the flop, I'm putting Ruben. I'm putting Ruben on maybe a weaker 10, like a Jack 10, or a draw. I don't think he had a slow played 8, just the way that his mannerisms were. It's like he didn't really want to call the 80, but he was kind of forced to call it. Then when the turn came, honestly, when the 9 came on the turn and he opened rips, one of the hands I could think that he has was 9-10. I'm thinking he has 9-10 Jack 10, I'm never putting him on an 8. I'm really never putting him on an 8 because I think that since I just had shown a couple of bluffs before, so I showed a bluff to Chris Moss, and it kind of set everything on fire. It set the stage for what was about to come, because I had played pretty solid the whole way, and then I was like, you know what, I need to spice it up. I need to start getting pretty aggressive,
Yeah.
and I want to get some action. So showed the bluff with 8 high against Chris Moss, and then got him to call off with ace-6, or with Jack 10 versus my ace-6, and held. And then with Ruben, I knew that I was just gonna have to make a hand and have him think that I was bluffing. But then he was putting me to the test. So on that turn, when he opened rips, it was like 25 bigs. It was like he had 294, and I had 288, right? So he had 6,000 more than me. So that was for the tournament. I was like, you know what? I think he can do this with a lot of Jack X, and he could specifically have Jack 10. I mean, if he has 9-10, GG's. Like, I'm like, you know what? It's less likely that he has a 9 on the turn, but like, I haven't really seen Ruben get out of line like that. But just, and I had to
he
think,
even has those hands. If you think about it, he doesn't have any.
And that's what I was thinking too. But the thing is, then when his hand was revealed, I mean, he has a Jack 9, right? So he had pair plus open ender, which is something I put him on because I was like, look, if this was me in my shoes and I want to have some fold equity, I would rip the turn with a pair plus a draw. I don't think I'm ever doing that with an 8. I'm never doing that with a house. And I don't think I'm even doing that with an overpair. Like, I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me, just the way that it played. So then I finally figured it out, threw in the call, and clean river. Let's go.
Yeah, it was a sick one. That was a sick one for sure. Yeah, good breakdown. 100%. I don't think he's gonna have any.
I was just trying to run through the bluffs. I was like, okay, look, could he have? I don't even remember if there was a flusher out there, but it was literally, for me, I was like 9-10 or nothing, right? When I saw the 9, I was like, man, that's the last card I wanted to see. I was like, he never has 6-7, and I don't think he has Queen Jack.
Right.
So
he has.
It was like 9-10 or nothing for me, and then I was like, you know what? He has a lot of Jack. He has a ton of Jack X. Jack X rips that turn to try to get me to fold, with him still having equity on a draw, and so I was like, you know what? The guy always talks about Jacks and 6s. This guy probably has a Jack. This guy probably has a Jack. It was a tough fought battle though the whole way. I just stayed patient. Didn't really get too out of line most of the tournament. I mean, a couple little bluffs here and there.
Saved it for the end.
Yeah, I had to just go on beast mode the last hour. It was gonna be tough. I mean, me versus Chris versus Ruben. I had to show that I was capable of switching gears.
What was going through your what was your thought process when you decided to turn 10-8 suited into a bluff? Versus Rube on that ace.
I mean, my exact hand is probably terrible to bluff there. I have no diamonds. I don't have a 6. I don't have any blockers to a straight. I just really didn't think Ruben had an ace, honestly. When he only bet 19K on the turn, to me, I just had picked up a live read. I was like, man, that it just looks so weak. And in my head, I was like, I can either raise the turn, or if it checks to me on the river, then I can just bet big, because it was a very scary. I was like, Tony G, put a scary card out there.
Right.
4 of diamond, 5 of diamond, whatever.
Right.
So I was just like, you know what? My plan is just to check and get creative on the river, get a little devious.
Right.
But it didn't work. I was like, damn, you actually really did have an ace. But in my head, I was like, why are you only betting 19K? Because diamonds get there, straight draws get there. And like 19K is not a protection bet, and it's not a value bet. Like I don't know what 19K does. I don't remember what the size of the pot was, but the 19K bet, just the way that he put it out, I didn't believe him. So I was like, I don't want to raise right here. I'd rather check and trap, because I was playing a little bit trappy when I actually had a monster.
You're gonna rep the diamonds, right?
I was gonna rep something. I mean, even the straight got there. I was like, this is way better for my range than his range. I mean, it's pretty tough just to call with an ace right
It's
there.
tough for you to have any of those cards, though.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
it
Also-
wasn't a very, very good bluff, especially with the cards I had. I mean, I have 2 spades. I don't have anything. I just had an imagination.
After showing
I-
down that bluff versus Moss,
Then everything went.
I would say try not to
I have-
space them so close together.
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I have to actually have it the next time.
Right.
But
right.
I was still okay with that because I wanted Ruben to think that okay, I'm actually capable of bluffing him too. Because at first Ruben was just watching us having a good time, and me and Chris were just going at it.
Yeah, that was sick. Well done, brother.
Let's go.
Good fucking game. Dep. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks everybody. Thanks for the support.
Moss
gonna have to read
saying
these,
good
comments.
bluff. GG's. GG's to
See you in
everybody.
Vegas.
Thanks for tuning in. We are gonna have Nasim representing us out
I'm gonna
in
need
Vegas
a nice,
this summer.
KoJack's patch.
We're gonna get him patched up, and we're gonna get get him out there looking good and holding it down for the community out in Vegas. So we'll wish him luck when that time comes.
I wonder if they could put the patch on my short shorts.
I'm pretty sure we'll figure something out. We got you. But yeah, checking out here with Nasim the Dream. Thank you for tuning in, you guys. We appreciate you.